So one of the things that I had hoped was that we would be able to discuss things in this low corner, and I mean, when I started the Just Chatting stream this morning, I was hoping that people would want to talk about some real changes that are happening and that are important. Um, and when Luke started uh, a stream after I started it, I shut down my stream and I went on his channel. Um, but I mean, look, I when a psychopath like Mark Parker joins, I try to be nice. Um, oh, I don't know what Luke's been saying, but like I think we should be able to discuss politics, but I don't want to discuss politics with somebody who's an idiot. And that's all I can think of when it comes to Mark Parker. Um, the man is incapable of reflection and updating his priors, and that's not the type of person I want to talk to. Um, so, yeah, I mean, look, I would like. Um, I I love speaking to Sam. I love speaking to Chazi. They're two incredibly intelligent people. I like speaking to Luke because he's a generally nice guy that you want to go get a beer with. Um, I like hearing what most of the guys in uh, this little corner have to say, but I want there to be logos. I want there to be real conversation. I want there to be sense making and having fools and idiots. Like that's too much of the internet. So I don't know what to tell you. It would be nice if people would be able to. I mean, there are some people still watching. If somebody wants to jump on and talk about things, I would love to speak to people. Like these are the types of things that I would love to, and I have time now. This isn't usually the time of day that I have time, and I know it's busy. um, there's a lot of people watching that other stream, but yeah, like what's the point talking to someone like Mark Parker? I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna go put on some tea. If somebody wants to jump on, that would be nice. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go about my life. You don't have to go on camera, Lynn. If you want to jump on, you can. He was on the other stream. Um, he's a boomer who thinks he understands things and he knows nothing and refuses to learn anything. So, don't know what to tell you. You don't have to turn on your camera. You just have to turn on your microphone. Come on, Yon God, jump on. It's Andre, right? I, Andre, you keep on changing accounts. Um, I really don't like monologuing. I really don't. I like talking with people, and it would be nice to have people. I mean, I talk too much. People sometimes tell me. My parents definitely tell me. Um, yeah, I try to remember, but you've had several, and like it doesn't have your name on it. Um, I hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you around for a bit. My tea's ready. It's Andre. How
Hey,
you
hey.
doing? How's Australia?
Good. We're almost out of summer, finally.
It's going to not be as warm as it is.
Yeah, that actually today, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday was the last hot day of all the hot days. So it's 35 degrees, which is 97 Fahrenheit, I think.
Hmm.
And yeah, so summer's pretty much over. But then spring can be warm, but it's not like you'll get random days that are like humid and 30 to 35 degrees Celsius and so on. I'll grab my camera. Where did I put it? I'm just working on what my assignment for my new course,
What's your new course?
cybersecurity.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it before. Yeah. You're going to be a cybersecurity expert?
Um, well, there's many areas in cybersecurity, and I've done Cisco networking courses in the past, so I've got
Mhm.
like networking experience. I've got I've been teaching myself coding and a bunch of stuff. But there's some specific areas where I would like to sort of look into um, in the future.
Mhm.
Uh, one is and let me just find this camera because I'm going to be annoyed if I can't remember where I've put it. Um,
Okay.
I'm moving house at the moment as well, so things are just all over the place.
You're moving house.
Yeah, my dad bought a unit that's a suburb away because we're like downsizing.
Uh-huh.
Um, from like a 2-story house to one that's like still got a garage, but it's not just going to have like a bunch of huge areas that we don't need and just stuff sitting around. So
Mm.
he's like lugging all that stuff up to his investment property, which is 3 hours away.
Okay. So I guess you've been busy with your classes.
Yeah, I've been keeping busy with that, and okay, here we go. See the camera. Allow. Um, yeah, the classes are online. It's fully online degree. Um, they do have a thing on Saturdays, I think, where yes, Saturdays where you can go to the campus.
Mm.
Uh, they call it like the cyber sock or something. They've got like a lab, like machine set up with it's like sandboxed environments, and so you can sort of like hack and learn to do all the technical stuff, but like in an environment where you're not going to mess anything up, and it's designed to sort of like um, so you can do it ethically, just using someone else's computer.
It's
Um,
weird seeing myself on your screen.
hang on. Yeah, that's something that has come up. Like, because I've got the 3 monitors set up now, and the way it sort of goes like that. Sometimes I've got Discord on, and people will be looking, and they're like, "Oh, I can see myself." I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, the CSOC thing is like, you don't have to go to those classes, and they discuss like assignments and stuff. But um, I'm like an hour and a half of a commute from uh, commuting from the Box Hill campus.
Mm.
So to go to a 4 hour class, that's 3 hours of commuting on top of that.
Okay,
Um,
so that's a real. You're going to the actual campus for classes. Okay.
oh no, I'm saying that the Saturday one has a chance, so like you can sort of do it, but you don't have to.
Okay.
Um, and I might try and go to a couple, but like it's sort of not really worth it outside of maybe like networking stuff like that, and sort of when we do some group stuff, I might. But I'm a pretty good self learner, and sort of um, I work pretty quickly in teaching myself and finding areas. But Jacob, not a vampire.
Andrew, are you guys still in that airport? Like, I don't know why they come on stream when they're in other countries and stuff. That always gets me. I'm like, why are you like? You're supposed to be enjoying your vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for making me feel a little bit better, young God. Jacob abandoned the youth for the old, and he learned the consequences of such actions. Honestly, like I try. I have to say, I try to get along with as many people as I can. And if I'm not getting along with people, I wonder if it's me, not them. Um, but I mean, look, you have to be able to look at reality. And I think that I do a better job of keeping long-term relationships than I think the TLC has been doing in terms of keeping long-term relationships. There's not a lot of new people. We're not getting a lot of fresh blood. We're not getting and um part of it is actually that a lot of the people that I think we've been keeping relationships with, like they've been moving on um, from the internet thing to real life things, right? People
Hmm.
who've been getting married and having kids and stuff like that, which is beautiful and good. And frankly, here in Los Angeles, we had a real world estuary at my place last night, right?
Ah, how did it
So
go?
it was nice. I mean, and Andrew and Trey were at Mount Athos, so they weren't there. It was a little smaller.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the time has come for me to like stop doing so much online and try to do more offline. But it's really nice having like what we had, which is like I would love to continue the discussion that we were having about what's going on in the Middle East with Khezi and Sam.
Hmm.
Because both Khezi and Sam are people who know things that can be discussed, and that's a good conversation that I wish I could continue to have. But Luke is having his stream with Mark Parker, and um, frankly, like I have to decide. I have to. So I don't know. I mean, I'm doing thing like I am trying to process this in real life right now on stream.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying when it's like you try and tolerate. Well, tolerate's maybe not even the right word. But like you try and give people as much grace as possible and like hear them out. But then there are certain people who you just like, okay, I can't deal with that right now. Like they're too nuts in a sense. And that's the vibe I sort of get from what I've heard about this guy.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was taking one of my courses, the professor was lecturing and she was saying, you never tell someone with a personality disorder. There's almost no point in actually diagnosing them with a personality disorder, and certainly not telling them about the personality disorder, because A, they will never believe you, and B, there's almost nothing you can do about it. And it's like, that's where you kind of have to just accept, okay, this is how something is, and go on with your life. There are things you can't fix.
Yeah, like I'd say it's just a case of reality. Like there are some people who like you just don't like because of that thing about them, and you can't just like be like, I want to fix them so it's better for me. It's like, no, it's you can't. So like fix yourself and like just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Or don't interact.
I mean, it would be nice if I could have continued on that stream with Luke. But I mean, when he came on, I considered just jumping off, which I probably should have, but I tried sticking around. But yeah, he has very strong opinions on stuff he knows nothing about.
Right.
And he insists on talking about shit he knows nothing about. And yeah, I love this idea that communicating facts is antagonism. That really helps make sense of those people very anti-truth. I mean, we made the jokes about Luke being incoherent, and I guess incoherence has more of an audience than what I am trying to do. I get where Mark P is coming from in his constant pushbacks on everything he doesn't agree or know. Yeah, and I mean, if you remember, I mean, he's been on my channel many times. Every time I play this, I won't play the whole thing.
I'm going to use
that video, right? He's right there, and I tried very hard. Like I went out to dinner with the guy, right? He's in Los Angeles, and people who are in Los Angeles, I try extra hard to engage with, and I tried very much, but like he has no capacity to actually learn. I don't know what more I can say about that. Is Protestantism a precursor for the epidemic of malignant individual existentialist narcissism? No, I think I think what is going on right now, which is we have a hierarchy in flux, is means that narcissists are more capable of seizing positions in the hierarchy that they should not be in. And I think that's part of the problem of TLC, or as Mark likes to call it, these little cults, is it is a hierarchy in flux. I think that's the problem. Yeah, so. Luke is very incoherent, but Luke is often correct in what he's saying, but isn't able to make decisions, draw boundaries. Like, Luke tries to understand things, and he tries hard, but he's in this weird position where the people who try to make sense of what he's saying make more sense than he does. So Yosef and Sam will both describe what Luke says in far more coherent and intelligent ways than Luke himself can.
Right.
And when they do that, I have to wonder if it's not their intelligence, like reading things eisegesis into what Luke said, as opposed to actually explaining what Luke said. Because I don't find, and this is the same thing with Paul of Tarsus, right? Like, Christians for thousands of years have been making more sense of Paul of Tarsus than I think he himself made. And it is possible to make more sense of something than, like, you can read a book, right? And make it make sense in ways that the book itself doesn't contain that sense. Yeah. Hey, the guy is still trying to help. So that's worth something. He's not mendacious. You mean Luke? Yeah, Luke is definitely not mendacious. Luke is a really nice guy. It was fun hanging around with him.
Yeah, Luke's always been a good guy. Like, I've only been on his stream like once or twice, and the last time was a couple of months ago. And there was me, and there was a guy who was trying to tell him, like, oh, you should start praying in tongues. And I was listening along in that. I'm like, okay. And then the guy left, and Luke was like, oh, I've got 5 minutes, but blah, 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 blah. And we just sort of caught up. I'm like, oh, so how's family doing, and how are you doing? And yeah, he's always a really nice guy. But yeah, there is stuff he says where I'm just like, what exactly are you saying? Like, whether it's like the technicality of the terms or like, yeah, it's when you say that, like, the other two sort of explain what he's saying in better ways that he can say it. It's like, it's almost like in the Bible with angels and the Word of God, like they send down the messenger angels from Luke in order to make it meaningful to men.
Well, yeah. So that really is the question. The question is, does Luke make more sense than I can intuit myself? And so I am not understanding him, and I need Yosef and Sam to interpret. But I don't think Luke has greater thinking capacity than Sam and Yosef do. I think, like, I understand when Sam and Yosef speak. Mostly, sometimes they're talking above my level, but yeah, I think they're making sense of things that don't make sense themselves. Young God, I'm not sure what you mean by this. Jacob, remember, these arguments apply to everything. These are then dangerous weapons, these arguments. Not sure which arguments exactly you mean. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just end the stream and go about my life. There's like 10 people watching.
Yeah, I mean, besides like the war stuff, like when you were saying that politics and people don't understand reality, like what were you pointing to? You said like in the last month.
Say that again?
You were saying like in the last month, it's like the dinosaurs and like
yeah.
thing, and people don't realize. Like, what precisely sort of are you pointing to there?
Oh, there's a lot of things going on. The changes in the U.S. government, like seismic changes are being made in the U.S. government in ways that isn't being covered, that can't be covered by the mainstream media. They just don't have access. And they they don't have access to what's going on. I don't have access to what's going on. I can see that I cannot see. The things that are going on, I can see that I cannot see. Right? Here, let me pull this up. So this is ProPublica's Doge tracker. So they're tracking the people that they can tell are working at Doge. Okay.
Yep.
So last updated 6 days ago, there is a large number of people. Yoav,
Hello.
hello, mashlomcha.
I'm fine.
Glad
It's
to
very
hear.
hard to follow the conversation because it started with Luke, and
Yeah.
I didn't start on time, so I was watching it double speed.
Oh,
By
it started. I had a Just Chatting stream before, and I saw that Luke started his stream, so I stopped my stream to go on his stream, and started talking, and then Mark Parker showed up. And usually when he shows up, I absent myself. But I wanted to keep on talking with my friends, so I didn't. And then he started spouting his usual ignorance, and I just don't have patience.
Okay, so and then I tuned back to your channel, and I heard you threatening to close down the discussion because people are not joining. So I just had to join in, even I didn't have time actually to catch up with the subject of the conversation.
The subject of the conversation is mainly, I'm trying to make sense of the fact that over the past month, the legacy media has been failing to report on the world to the sense-making mechanisms that I am used to using, which include podcasts and the internet. So there's no sense making. I'm blind. I think a lot of us are blind. And actually, you would have a better opinion on this than most people, but you don't read Discord, do you?
Which Discord?
My Discord.
I skim it.
Okay, so we discussed a tiny bit what's going on in Syria, like what's going on in the Middle East in general.
Okay, so I wanted to comment on that. I heard your comments about Syria.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yes, it is historical, but it is relatively insignificant. Because first, not even the most insane right-wing fraction in Israel claim any of this territory as Israeli. We just absolutely don't claim this territory.
No.
Second, we held, I don't know exact borders, we basically held this territory already in 1974.
Really?
And yes, and because by the end of the war of 73,
mm-hmm.
we really got very close to Damascus.
Right.
We beating the Syrian army. There was nothing to stop us. So then there was a ceasefire agreement. As part of the ceasefire agreement, we withdrew back to the border of half a year ago. So, just for a ceasefire, we were very much ready to already withdraw from that territory.
Mm.
So yes, I mean it is a position that you take in time of war, and we will get back to the to last year's border without any problem. So I don't think, I mean, whatever happens in Syria, it's of course significant because
You don't think there's a possibility that there will be an independent Druze state set up?
as much as I know of the Druze religion, and I don't know anything about the Druze religion because it is secret,
Correct.
they, on principle, loyal to the current regime.
Mm.
So if you're a Druze in Syria, then you're loyal to the Syrian government, and if you are Syrian in Israel, you're loyal to the Israeli government.
Right.
So I don't see any possibility of a Druze nationality.
Mm.
But of course, they will want security arrangements.
Mm.
But that is the Druze trick. The way that you guarantee your security is that you are loyal to the current regime and you send your boys to the army and get armed to the teeth, and you get combat experience. And then when the internal struggle happens, you are ready for it. And it also helps.
They're kind of like the Sikh in that way.
I guess, but also the Druze, being such a minority, they're very strict on building the villages on top of mountains.
Mm.
Conquering a Druze village must have been tried many centuries before and failed. So this is the self-preserving way of the Druze, as I see it. I see trouble on the Egyptian border. If you ask me, where do I expect the next? It's the Middle East. Yeah, there will be trouble, of course.
Did you see President Trump's latest video that he truthed out?
About Gaza?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaza is done for. That I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about Gaza at all.
What do you mean?
There's no threat for me from Gaza anymore.
What's going to happen to Gaza? What do you think is going to happen in Gaza?
It depends on human nature. If the Gazan were going to decide to be like the German after the war and rebuild the city and be pacific and not have an army and try to be in good terms with everybody, then it will be a prosperous, peaceful region of the world. It's up to your trust in human nature whether you think this is going to happen.
Do you think it's going to happen?
Of course not.
Me neither. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but what can I do? Okay, so we have a problem that human nature is shitty, and unless such time as things are going to miraculously be solved, things are not going to be miraculously solved. What can I add on top of that? You have to find a kind of a strategy of keeping alive in the meanwhile. And like the Druze strategy is a good one, and we have to find our strategy. And I think we're, relatively speaking, doing quite well. I mean,
what do you think is going to happen? I mean, so I have seen indications that Mohammed bin Salman has decided he's done with the Palestinians and he doesn't want any more Palestinian problem. And I am under the belief that Putin and Chazi says Yeshuat Hashem Keherafayim.
yeah. That means that the day before it, I cannot predict it.
Yeah.
Like the day before the fall of Syria could not predict it. So,
The fall of Syria. See, this is the thing. I think Mohammed bin Salman and Putin and Marco Rubio more than Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump actually cares so much what gets done, as long as things get done and he can try to take credit for them. I think Marco Rubio and Mohammed bin Salman and Putin have decided that they're going to work together. And I think Mohammed bin Salman really hates the Palestinians a lot.
I think everybody is in the same position, but the question that people in the Middle East are asking themselves, can I use them as leverage to achieve some goals? They are a tool.
How much control does Mohammed bin Salman have over the King of Jordan and the government in Egypt?
Jordan, a lot. They are literally brothers. In as much as Saudi Arabia gave some significant territory to Jordan some time ago, just for the kindness of their heart, because Jordan was lacking good access to the sea. So Saudi Arabia gave them some territories in the Gulf of Aqaba, and they are on very, very good relations, except that Jordan is a mixture. They are half Saudi and half Palestinian.
Yeah.
So,
and the Saudis hate the Palestinians in Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, let's say that there is no union of Saudi Arabia and Jordan on the cards, because then the Palestinians will be in the package. Not that anybody suggesting it. So anyway, I appreciate our attempt to try to analyze things. We should, but it's so complicated and you never have enough information.
Hezi is saying what you're saying, which I agree with. Too many moving parts to truly read the map. But that's why, like, this community I have tried to foster is I want to be able to try to make sense of things.
Okay.
Futile effort?
No, I think sometimes things are obvious. And the obvious things are never being discussed. Like we now have we have exchange of the kidnapped citizens with the Palestinians. And this agreement is in 2 strokes. And we just finished the first stroke, and we are discussing implementing the second stroke. Okay? And the thing that needs to happen between the first and the second is we have to withdraw from the border between Gaza and Egypt. That's a precondition to starting the second stroke. Why the hell is that? Second question: why did we not find the kidnapped people in Gaza? Because we actually went over all of the territories, not such a big territory with a fine-tooth comb, if there is such a thing. It's a fine toothbrush. I can see the Palestinians hiding, let's say, 10 of them.
You think they were in Egypt?
Well, God forbid. Are you accusing the Egyptians of no, this is unthinkable.
Really?
But anyway, I mean, if you know, people that like to believe in all sorts of conspiracy theories, they can believe in anything they want. But Egypt has insisted, as the mediator in the negotiation. They insisted that Israel had to withdraw from the border between Gaza and Egypt.
Mhm. But Egypt doesn't want to take over Gaza again.
No.
I don't know what they're planning on doing with the 2 million people.
They have 100 million people to feed.
Okay.
Feeding 102 million will not be such a degradation or will not complicate the problem. It's the ruliness of those people.
Yeah.
How are they politically aligned with the current government in Egypt? And that could be a problem.
I have said that I believe there's a non-zero chance, and by non-zero I mean 0.00000000001, maybe less. That there may be some sort of agreement to evacuate at least some of the Palestinians to southern Syria. What do you think of that?
Okay. First of all, about the idea of building a golden casino in Gaza.
Yeah.
That, believe it or not, we are living in the Middle East. That has been tried and
Right.
failed.
Yeah, I remember the casino in the West Bank. Yeah.
Yeah. So building a casino will not do.
Okay.
The question is to ask what power in the world has it in their interest to keep the issue open.
Iran.
Okay. But at the moment, Gaza is quite isolated from Iran. Iran cannot much influence that. Question, are there any others? I don't trust anybody. If nobody is interested in keeping the issue open, then it will get solved.
China?
In that respect, I just love the Chinese. They're the true capitalists. They're just interested in building stuff and making money. If they can build a harbor in Gaza and make money of it, they will do it, and then it will be passing quiet. The problem is that Gaza is not suitable for building a harbor, and the Chinese don't have any interest there. There is nothing to take out of the ground, nothing to build. The Chinese are just not interested.
The Chinese aren't interested in keeping the United States and Israel separated from the rest of the Muslim world?
Chinese are no great.
They're not the British?
I really believe that the Chinese are after the money. They're after doing stuff. I don't think they play this game, and I don't think that strategically they are allies of the Muslims. I mean, why do they align themselves with the Muslims more than with the Americans?
China always plays the very, very long game. That is their social value, is the very long game.
Yeah, and they don't have any danger in the long term, especially not from Israel and also not from America.
But they need the oil. Although Mohammed bin Salman has his hand on the tap of all the oil.
They want the oil from both places. They want to be in good terms with everybody. They want to be good terms with the Saudis and with the Iranians, and they want to get resources from everybody. They're big enough to need resources from everybody. And I think they would really like peace and quiet, especially now because they are in some financial difficulties. I don't think that they would rock the boat this
Really,
year.
China? This is news to me. China has financial difficulties?
There's nobody to sell to. I mean, what's the trick in China? You make goods and you sell them to. Who are they going to sell stuff? I mean, everybody's broke.
Yeah, that's the thing. And they can't afford to get their own middle class because then they might end up with glasnost.
Perhaps, but even if they wanted to, that would have taken. It's not enough.
I honestly don't know what to think of the Muslim Brotherhood. I thought letting Egypt be ruled by the Muslim Brotherhood and letting the Muslim Brotherhood try to actually have a real society with a real government was a good thing in terms of making the Muslim Brotherhood more realistic and more and I was kind of disappointed in taking over, like Morsi being removed by force. I would have preferred if he was going to be taken out, that it would have been democratically. And I think it was possible that he could have been removed democratically.
Yeah, but this is this is not relevant. This is not. It's not an open question. Egypt is Egypt. It's a nation of 100 million people. It has the longest history in the world. It's very much a stable social structure.
Really?
Yeah, because it has been like that forever. I mean, you had the pharaoh.
I never would have described Egypt as stable social structure. If anything, I think of Egypt as being volatile. More so than the rest of the Arab countries.
Egypt is. Who is going to topple the deep state in Egypt? You can have an internal coup. I mean, one guy can topple the other top guy, like. But the underlying structure, the deep state is always going to be there. I mean, the fact that you, with one laptop, could topple the deep state in America, that it doesn't translate to Egypt because computers will not help there.
You really think one laptop is toppling the deep state in the United States?
Seems like it.
I didn't necessarily blame the laptop. I mean, Trump yesterday stripped the security clearances of one of the most important law firms in Washington, D.C. I'm not sure what to think about it. I wrote not good. This is as close to violence as I hope we ever get in the United States, there are seriously important elites being dispossessed right now in ways that I don't quite understand. I don't know if it's going to continue. I don't know what's going on. And
Okay.
yeah.
Neither do I, but one thing I'm sure, if that was Egypt, then within 1 year, the old regime is going to be back in its place with the new guy on top. Because when things are handled physically, personally, you just, and too many people, that the country is too big and too analog to topple.
Mhm.
America, I don't know. America, so many houses of cards, you might topple it. And getting close to almost violent was the best outcome, because of course you couldn't have made any progress without going very close to almost violence. As long as you don't really start shooting people, you're still walking the best path.
I pulled up this page. So ProPublica is a very well-funded left-wing news research site. Really, it's an opposition research site. It's funded activist journalism. And so this is their page where they're tracking all the people that they know are working with Elon Musk on Doge. And if you look through this list, very, very capable people.
Okay.
This is a very large group of very capable people working full-time. They have been working full-time for now over a month.
Okay.
It is very difficult to know what they're accomplishing. I know what type of things I would start doing, and give me a month with this team, I would completely reorganize the American government in ways that are unrecognizable to our current set. And I'm guessing they have more imagination and more willingness to change things than I ever would. We're looking at a black box, and there's
what I think
something going on.
What I think is happening, is my vision of America, because I don't know America, is taken from the Godfather movies. And I find them extremely accurate so far. What you do is you gather leverage on people.
Yeah.
You go through the money channels and you find stuff about people. And then you use your leverage to do good stuff, like nominating your candidates. That all the problematic candidates just passed the nomination without any trouble. Is it because people have seen the light and came back to Jesus? Or is this because somebody gained leverage on them? And
you think it's the Epstein list?
I'm wondering. I
No,
don't.
well, you may. Epstein is. I mean, a lot of people have done a lot of bad things in the last 4 years. In all sorts of,
A lot of people
aspects.
have done a lot of bad things in the last 400 years.
Yeah, and once you have your good laptop and you're a good programmer, then you have all the files on your laptop, and then you go to those people. Really, this is how I think it's happening, and you leverage it in order to get more power, and then you use your more power as leverage to get a little bit more power, and as long as the revolution is young and people are still with the sharp memories of how bad it was half a year ago, then you can run with that, and then but half a year in the desert, and people will want to go back to Egypt.
Did you see this?
No.
Let me show you this. This was the budget resolution that passed last night. 217 Republican yeses, 1 no. And the
Okay.
Democrats were completely left out of the process.
Okay. How did it happen? Suddenly the Republican has seen the light and came back to Jesus.
There are three possibilities I think cannot be completely discounted. First possibility, they're being blackmailed. Second possibility, Trump and Doge are promising and delivering on changes that Republicans as a whole never imagined could really happen, and they are falling in line. Yes, I realize this sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it's both.
Third possibility is these are all politicians who see how the wind is blowing. They see where the money is. They have more knowledge than I do than what's going on. They can see better than I can. And I can see that there's real change going on, and anybody who's standing in the way will be crushed.
Yeah. Following the last Bible study on last Thursday, I posted 2 links at the bottom of that YouTube
comment section,
comment section, and they're both referring to the same play, the 2 versions of the same play. One was on television long time ago, and the other one was on the theater. And this is about the last days of David, when he had to choose a hair between Adoniah and Solomon. And it is exactly the same political environment. People are dithering. I mean, will I support this candidate or will I support that candidate? And 2 camps trying to promote either candidate. And the minute the king has made a decision, then suddenly everybody flocking around Solomon, because then you cannot be on the losing side. You have to immediately that moment switch sides. So that play is instructive. I wish David will translate it to English and show it one day.
Okay.
But both of your 3 options are happening together. It is blackmail, but it is sort of a gentle blackmail. I mean, nobody wants any money, or nobody is making any threats. They say, okay, we know what you've done, but that was a long time ago. Let's forget it. Let's now work together, and we'll say nothing of it, and you will say nothing of it. Just don't interfere too much. And politicians also see where the wind is going, and see this is the new king, and I will serve the new king as much as I served the old king. Why not?
Mark says, Jacob, I think you have it backwards. The government was a black box. Doge is revealing it, and the problem we thought the government wasn't a black box. No, I knew the government was a black box, but it was a black box where I knew what goes in and I knew what comes out. I no longer know what's going to come out.
There is a science to it, system identification. You have a black box, but then if you have a good laptop, then you send it a set of signals into it. Very well chosen signals, and you observe the outputs, and you can look into a black box it's a science. Like if you now stop the money flow and you look the other end where the money doesn't flow anymore, then you will learn a lot of things.
So this is somebody yesterday wrote, you voted for this. And it's an opinion column by Michelle Goldberg, one of the dumbest people on earth. Trump's new deputy FBI director has it out for the scumbag commie libs. And I responded, and it has 200 likes. I never imagined I lived in a country where I got what I voted for. I actually didn't vote, by the way. My vote doesn't count. I live in California.
Yeah, I'm waiting. How will politics change in Israel in the next half a year? When money will dry out, PR will dry out, some people in the media will notice the change of the wind has changed. And that within half a year, because people have such short memories, that can have an effect on Israeli politics in a marked way, I think. And also, our prime minister is on trial now on corruption. And the trial is going towards its end. And I think he's going to win it bigly. So in half a year also, you'll have a victorious, innocent prime minister emerging out of the trial.
Oh, you think he's going to win the trial?
Yeah, that is my assessment.
Interesting.
That could change things in Israel. And then what happens after it, who knows?
Okay, well, apparently Ben and Chazi are going to do Maimonides now. And so,
yeah, they just have to stick to it and not stop in the middle as they might sometimes.
As they always do. Okay, I'll see you guys on the Chazi stream.
Yeah, bye.